Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I hope you are doing fine.
Sure.
Yes, of course.
So welcome back to our starter session, which we started last week. Today we are in day 2. And from last week, we covered the introduction part, we covered the user interface, we covered the Stata do file, which we are going to use in our daily execution of a Stata program. A nutshell about variables in Stata. We covered the data operators and the simple rules about the Stata commands. And lastly, the closure of software, which is something direct. Today as well, we are going to finalize the part of Stata introduction. I just gave it the title of Gateway to Stata Software. And most of things here which we are going to experience, we are going to create a building block, a foundation for the upcoming sessions. So wherever we are going to face afterwards, you can always come back here to seek for guidance. And we're going to lay that kind of a foundation. And first of all, we are going to see how we can use example data sets which come or pre-installed with Stata. So most of the time we may need to practice your Stata commands. And before we learn the issue of data imports, which is the upcoming session, the next session we're going to start data import. But before that, the quick use, you can make use of example data which are pre-installed with this data. So I'm going to learn that today, because in one way or another, we may need them to demonstrate some of the lessons. Another thing which we'll spend a lot of time there is how we can use help from Stata. It is very important. You should know how you can use help. I'll clarify more when we reach to that lesson. And the other part is the issue of data types and the storage in its data. We need that one. The smaller part also is about missing values specification in its data. But also, we are going to learn how to specify a var list and a num list in its data. Why that, we'll see. And the last lesson is I keep on listing the most common errors which someone may experience in using Stata. This one I'm not going to learn in full because each time we learn a new command, we'll experience new error. For some of the concept I'll just explain. For some, I will not be able to demonstrate for today until when we cover the specific lesson. So those which can be able to be, I can be able to be to explain, I will do it. For other parts, we'll wait until the further upcoming lessons. So I'll jump directly to today's session, accessing example data. So most of statistical softwares, they do have example data, which you may use from your day-to-day experience of executing Stata commands. And the Stata is not different from that. Once you open your Stata, By default, it will open the main window, which comprises those sub-components window, which we covered last week, 5 windows. And from here, you don't see any variable here. I explained last week how did we end up having those variables from here. So first of all, I will open a new file for today's session. And I will save this as this is day 2. Capacity building. Day 2. Day 02. So I call it Gateway Stata Software. It's font a little bit. Is 6th July, 6th June, 2026. So number 1, access to Stata. We call it example. Also, it is called toy data. This data set you're going to use for practice and not for any particular study, official study. So here we have 2 approaches. Number 1, you can use drop-down menu. Can use drop-down menu. So what you do, I have laid down the steps here. Go to Stata menu, user interface, click file, then go down to example data. Then here we'll click example data sets. Then click specific data. From the list, click use after dataset name to open your data of interest. Like this. Go to file, example datasets. Once you reach here, you have Stata 18 manual dataset and example datasets. We are interested with this example datasets. You see the list here. These are example data which you can use for practice. We have 2 commands. We have use, we have describe. But to open that data, right now you see it is empty here. But the moment I click use, like this one, it means I'm opening Auto2 data. Now you see it here, Auto2. If I click browse, you'll see the data is here. If I need any other data set, I can come here and click use, and this data will instantly load that new data. And now you see something else. But note this, each time you click there is a command which is printed here in your results window, as well as in your history window. SOS use, auto SOS use, BP, long. This is the first approach which you can use graphical user interface to load those data. Another approach is to use command. And in order to use command, you use SOS use. SOS use some things. SOS use, and then something's wrong here because the content is not visible, clearly visible. I will correct this before I share the handout. So what you do, you will type this SYS use dir. This one will do what? Will print all example data set names, all of them be listed in your results window. So you see, sorry, SYS use, not SYS use, yeah, SYS use, yeah, yes. So yes, use dir here. What are these names? These are the same names which you have seen here, this list. So if you're interested in using a command window or do file, you come here. And what is the command for loading that data? Use, we are going to learn from the next session, is going to import Stata file which are available in your local disk. But for example data, we use the command called the SYS use for system use. So I'll come here and write SYS use. What? Now, which data do I need to import? Maybe I should clear this one, remove everything which is present here. I need to import which data? Maybe I need to import auto 16. So I copy this. This is the data name. I put it there. Auto 16. So you see, we have done the same thing now by using command window. So you will see me write this often. So each time you see SYS use, understand that like I'm using example data to demonstrate wherever you want to learn. Most of the time, this command will be accompanied by command clear, because what is clear? Remove data set in memory. We'll remove our data like this. This clear remove data. And this one will load data back. So imports commands will be accompanied by this. The writing style will be this one. If I write SYS use, comma, clear, here I'm avoiding writing 2 lines of commands because I can start with writing clear, then SYS use. This one. Here, load auto 16 example data. So this is the good practice. Instead of writing 2 lines, when you write comma clear, Stata will start executing this clear, remove wherever existing in memory before loading auto 16.dta. This is it. This is number 1. Why do we put clear? Sometimes if you make any changes in the existing data, if you just write SYS use, it will not work. Like in this case here. Let me remove one of the variable like this. If I use this command here, SYS use, it will throw error. It will say no, data set in memory has changed since last saved. Don't want to be blamed. So here, but if we use clear, that error will not be there. It will remove that data and then load new data. So that is the difference. If data set is not changed since last saving, no problem. 2 commands will work the same, exactly the same. But this one is more recommended. Use the option clear. And like that, you can load any data. You can load any data. Like here, I can say instead of auto 16, I can load BP wide. BP wide. So it will remove the existing one and replace it with the new data, as you see it here. That is one approach. Something else before I forget, if you are using command, you have two choices. Like here, since all data, example data, are Stata data, you can also ignore this extension, .dta. Still, it will work perfectly, no problem. So even if you ignore .dta, automatically it will figure out the loaded data is Stata. But another thing also, you can enclose this data file with double quotes. Still no problem. It will work. Next session, when we are going to learn the data importation, we'll see when it is mandatory to use double quotes and when it is optional. Like in this case, it is optional. And actually, when your data file name is one word, you can use double quotes or you can ignore. But when the data file option has got a space in between, it is mandatory to put double quotes. Also, when you want to specify the complete path, even if it is one word, you'll be forced to use double quotes. So in a nutshell, this is how you can load example data. I'm going to use this example data quite often. If you have a question before I proceed, you can interrupt and raise your question. But if it is clear, allow me to go to next step. No hand raised, no question. So I can keep moving. The next thing is getting Stata help from Stata. This is so important. Why? Most of the time, of course, nowadays you can use AI, the help of Google, but the consistency structure of the syntax, you can get it from Stata itself. You are not going to be taught or commanded by a facilitator or a teacher or a trainer. No. Stata help will enable you to be independent user of Stata, because each time you get a new command, even if you are yet to be taught, you can teach yourself by using Stata helps. But that, at first time, it is not so direct. It is not so direct when you try to read the Stata help on your own. So here, it may happen you incorrectly type the command name or syntax. The Stata will give you error message. The immediate solution is to seek help from help command followed by correct command name. Also, we're going to see the PDF help later at the end. This will be useful in finding technical assistance and how to write a proper syntax. How do you do it? You will write help, then your command name. Like here, help tabulate or help summarize. Here, you can say help summarize. Help summarize. You see now, you get the full documentation of this command. After that, focus on this part here, which is written syntax. Immediately after syntax, below here, you will find the syntax specification. Summarize, var list, if, in, wait, and so on and so forth. And the further documentations down here, a lot of explanations, including menu. Like if I want to get the same command by using graphical user interface, where should I go? You start with statistics. This is the good thing about help. You go to statistics. Then what? Summarize and test. Then what? This window tells us what? Tables. Then a test. Then a summary. And it is skip to statistics, summary statistics. So you will follow that 40 steps from here, from menu. So this is the beauty also of using help. For writing command, focus on syntax. Just focus on syntax, writing commands. But if you want to access the same thing in drop-down menu, focus on this path. Statistics, after statistics, summarize the table and the test, then go to summary, and in this statistics, then summary statistics. Like here, statistics, summarize table and test, then summary statistics, then summary statistics, like this one. So you have reached there. This is how you can write your summarize in that form. So here I have used the drop-down menu. You can also try help tabulate, help, instead of tabulate, I'll write something else, help generate. You see here, syntax, command generate. This is how you specify it. So Stata also tend to give you the syntax specification. Right? It is run here where I'm delivering my program. If you can hear me, you can proceed, but if not, maybe you can pause. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I can proceed. So it will give you the generate, but also related syntax can be displayed here. This one will be covered later. But this is how you can read the syntax. The next lesson is how we can tackle one argument of the other. But also down here, if you want to do this by using menu, you go to data. After data, go to create or change data, then creating a variable. So like this, you go to data, then what? Create or change data, then creating a variable. So wherever you can do by using command, you can also do it by using drop-down menu. This is why it is so helpful to understand the syntax documentation. Syntax documentation, like that. So to begin, that was about Stata help. What is so common when you read Stata help? I try to dismantle down 8 components which you will find when you read Stata help. So most of the Stata command, you will find the following characteristics. Number 1, underline. Like what? Here, when I type the summarize, when I go to syntax, you see summarize, there is underline here in SU, underline. Or in options, there is underline here in D, underline in min, F, set. What is the meaning of that? It is coming, but it is there. For generate, the same. There is the underline here in G, but also there is the underline here in B, underline in F. Here, underline in no, but permanently, underline. What is the meaning of this underline? There is a beautiful meaning behind that underline. So it is common. It is not mandatory for every command, but it is there. Another thing is italics in arguments. Some of the arguments are italicized, like here. You see this new var, it is italicized. Var name italicized. This one italicized. What is the meaning of that italics? Var list itself, it is italicized. Display options, italicized. What is the meaning of that? It is coming. Also, you will see square brackets. Like in this case, var list is placed in square bracket if, in, wait, and even options, all of them are within square brackets. We are going to learn what is the meaning of these square brackets. What else we are going to find out? Specification of var list or var name. Sometimes you see var list, but somewhere also you can see var name. Like if I say here, or I type here, help tablet, help tablet one way, help tablet one way. You see here, tablet var name, but here tab one var list. What is the difference between var name and var list? Also, we are going to learn about that, because it is very, very important. Another thing, you will find a comma, almost 90% or even more than that of commands have got a comma. Like here, tabulate so and so, but there is a comma somewhere. There is a comma somewhere here. Generate also, there is a comma here. Replace also, there is a comma here. What about summarize? Comma is there. I can also type something else. Help encode. Help encode. You see, comma now is here. It is not always the case that a comma will be within square bracket. Sometimes it may be outside, independent, like this one. Comma is there. What is the use of that comma? This is what you are going to learn. Also, the use of this pipe for all. You see here. In help generate, sometimes it is there. Before all, you see this pipe. This pipe stands for all. We are going to learn about this. You can also find it to somewhere like help to string. Help to string. Like this, it is here. So wherever you find this, what is the use of this pipe? It is very important to understand that you are going to learn. But also the use of hash symbol. Like here, if I type something like help in, you see it here. What is the use of this? It's very important to learn. And the last one, the use of blue color from viewer window. Here, while we're in help window, whatever you see is in blue. Like here, this one is blue, var list is blue, if is blue, wait is blue, display option, and so many other stuffs. What is the use of that blue color? So we're going to tackle one after another from here onwards. So let us start with the underline. What is the use of underline? In the underline, from the above syntax, underline always signify the short form of the command. And we call it the minimum short form. Minimum short form of command. This is the use of underline. Underline keyword from syntax help. What is the use of this? This is our first attempt here. Like in this case, help summarize. Help summarize. You see, SU is underlined. What is the use of this? So first of all, I will call example data to in order to demonstrate this. Auto 2 or auto 16, I prefer auto 2, clear. Summarize is the command which you're going to learn later. It is used to summarize a numeric variable. So like in this case, I will summarize a variable called the price. So I can write here, summarize price. You see the results. Summarize here. But instead of writing the full keyword of summarize, I can simply write SU. And this is the meaning of minimum short form, SU price. You can write it just SU price. It will still give you the same answer. But what actually is the meaning of minimum short form? You can keep adding these characters as you wish. You can add SUM, SUMM, SUMMA. All of them will give you same answer. Like here, I can just say summarize, SUM, or this double, or like this. You can keep add character until when you reach the full syntax. All of them will work the same, but in minimum form, you must end wherever you have underline. So you see here, you can do wherever you wish. So this is the meaning of a summarize. This is the meaning of underline, sorry. This is the meaning of underline. So wherever you see underline, you can shorten that command. Like here, the command is encode, but you can just write EN. Decode, you can just write DEC. Remember the minimum short form. Why do I say the minimum short form? If you go beyond the SU, like in this case, if you go beyond the SU, what will happen? If I just write S, if I just write S, price. If I just write S, price, will that work? No, because that is not a command. For this to be a command, it must be SU. This is the case. We are going to practice this time after time, so don't worry. So it is the minimum short form. I'll comment out this. I'll take it out. Another thing is the use of italics arguments. The use of italics. Here. The use of italics we have several examples. For example, here, let me check, summarize. Do you have italics there? Of course, var list, which means you have to substitute this with the var list from your data, but you'll know that for the time being. Here, var name. Var name is italicized. So it doesn't mean you should come here and write tabulate var name. Tabulate var name. This will not work. So what actually is the meaning? Words in italic are not meant to be typed literally. They are instruction telling you what to substitute from your own data. So like in this case, I'm supposed to substitute a variable name from my data. Like here, I'll put rep78. Rep78. So instead of var name, you put this. This is how it will work. Italic. About generate, for example, generate. It doesn't mean if I write generate, I should type here new var. No. This is the meaning that you put your new variable name. You can name it wherever you wish, but don't put this one literally. This is the meaning. Also, wherever you see italic, doesn't mean you should put it literally. In exception of if and in, these are keywords. You must put them as they are displayed. So if and in, although italicized, the exception of this rule. That is number 2. Another thing you usually experience from help is the use of square brackets. And when I'm here, I prefer most of the time to use the example, the string and the toString. It is not by chance that some of the arguments are placed within square brackets and some they are not. Take example of these two commands, this string and the toString. This string, var list is placed within square brackets, but the toString, var list is not placed within square bracket. What actually is the message? Wherever is enclosed, wherever is placed within square bracket, that is optional specification. So from the syntax help, wherever is enclosed with the square bracket, understand this as option. You can omit this in your syntax specification. We're going to learn about the basic command specification. So like in this case, if I say the string, comma, replace, here, Stata help. If I say, we're going to learn about this specification, the string, comma, replace. This one is okay. It is a command, no problem. Why no problem? It works without error because var list is option. I can specify it, I can ignore it. What else from the same syntax? The string options, wherever is here, also these are option. So what is the mandatory? Wherever is not enclosed with the square bracket must be specified. Like this string. Also note that in this string and the toString, you don't have underline. So you must write this keyword in full. So the string, then this generate and replace, they are not in square bracket, but they have got pipe, which means one among these must be declared. In my case, I have decided to use replace, but also you can decide to use generate. Well, this is the content which will follow afterwards. My explanation is that, what if I try to write the same thing? Because when you read it from syntax, they look more or less the same. If I write it toString, then comma replace, what will happen? toString, comma, replace. This one will throw error. Says what? Var list required. Why var list required? Because for toString, var list is mandatory and not optional. For this string, wherever is within square bracket is optional, as the case of this string. But here, var list is mandatory. There is no way you can work with a toString. You must specify var list based on the techniques which are going to learn about var list specification. So if I go back here to summarize, you see here, summarize, then what? Var list, square bracket, so it is option. If, square bracket, so it is option. In, within square bracket, it is option. Wait, within square bracket, option. Then options within square bracket, also option, which means that this syntax, you can just write summarize and it is enough. Everything else become option. So I can just type here, summarize, and no worry, no error will be thrown. Yeah? The rule of thumb is for var list, if you don't specify any variable, this action will be applied to the entire data set. So that is the message which you should get. We're going to explain this when it comes to var list specification later. So this is it about the square bracket. And many syntax have got this, like tablet. Tablet, you see var name. Var name is not in square bracket. So you cannot just say tablet and end there just like summarize. Tablet, like that. Eh? You must specify variable to throw error. It says var list required. So when you put var tablet, you must specify your variable, unlike summarize. Yeah? So like this, you will avoid most of errors. So this is the use of a square bracket. You will find it everywhere. Almost all 80% of the syntax specification or help, you'll get this. Where generate also, you see this square bracket type is within square bracket, but new var not. Label name within square bracket. If, in, before, and after, all of them are within square brackets, like that. Eh? What else? Use of var list and var name from help syntax. Somewhere we find var name, somewhere else we find the var list. What actually is the difference? Like here, you find the var name, here you find the var list. Var name, when you see var name, it means only one variable is required. Only one variable of existing name is required. So var name for existing. But somewhere else we'll find a group variable, group var. It also means a var name, but not any variable. It is a variable which is in categorical form. But when you find a var list, it means you can use one or more variables and no problem. You can use one or more variables and no problem. Like in this case, var name of var list specification. Here, tablet, help, tablet, one way. You remember this. I'll show you by using this command, tablet, and using tab one. Good example, I would like it to come from NLSW data, NLSW88. I'm using this data purposely because I've got several categorical variables. This one. So now I'll use res, married, and never married. Res, married, and never married. So right here, tabulate. Tabulate this. Remember here, tabulate requires only one variable. This is the meaning of var name.
So if I try to put several variables, you see error here. Too many variables specified. So expect this error wherever you see var name and you put more than one variable. But the same thing, if I put it within this one, var list, this one you accept one variable, two variables, and any number of variables, no problem. So if I change the command and I put tab 1, because tab 1 receive var list, no worry. This one will work because tab 1 accept var list, but tablet accepting var name. So the proper way of using Stata help can help you to avoid so many errors in between. So this is about the difference between var list and var name. So like here, from generate, let's see. Brief explanation about a group var. Oh, yes, about a group var. Group var is the same for var name, but this is a variable name for which represent categorical only. Not all variables are qualified for this one. Let me check if I can see one from here. Let me check one here. From help generate. Help generate. Where's generate here? No, help tablet. From help tablet, you see here, there is generate tab name. But this tab name is indicator variable, which means a group variable. I will explain further about this when we reach there. As for the time being, I don't have something which can clearly explain that concept. Like in this case, if I go back to SYS use auto 2, clear. Auto 2 clear. Let me demonstrate here. There is a rep 78 and there is a price. These two, if I browse, price, not make, price. You see here, this is a numeric variable. And this is a categorical variable. So when we say group variable, we mean variable like this one. Variable which, when you tabulate, if I write tabulate rep 78, you see what you get, a frequency table like this one. But if I say tabulate price, tabulate price, this one is not a proper form of summarize this because each item appeared only once. So we are not summarizing anything here. So price is not a group variable, but rep 78 it is. I hope I have clarified that one. Is a group var rep 78 is a group var, while price is not a group var. So wherever you see that the syntax requires group var, it means a categorical variable. Categorical. While this one is continuous. Continuous. So like that. I hope it's clear now about group var. The other thing now is about the use of pipe. This one, from help syntax. The use of pipe. So actually, what is that? Here, when you see this, it represents O. I'll go back to help to string. Help to string. You see it here. There is this pipe here. This content here, it is not enclosed with double quotes. So you must specify it. But in its specification, you can decide either to use generate or to use replace, but not both. Because it is written like this, someone may say, I can put both. Or here, to string var lists. Let me check here. What if I say to string price? To string price, and here I say generate, then I put the new price, price 2, or replace. This is not allowed. Not allowed. You cannot use both at par. So the meaning of this symbol here, the meaning of this, it means you have to specify one of these, not both. So like in this case, you can come here and say, specify generate. To string generate. Generate. You see here the command is okay. Or specify to string replace. Replace. This is also okay. So when you take this directive from syntax, because the syntax is written in this form, you also take it as it is and paste it in your do file, you will be wrong. So the message here, you must either use generate or you must use replace. This is the message, and not both. The same for generate. Either you can use it before or you can use it after, but not both. But remember that for the case of generate, before and the after are enclosed in square brackets. So you can drop both, because they are optional. Unlike the string to string, which you must use one of them. So this is the use of pipe. The use of pipe. You will find it in several situations. I think there is another help here. If I say help, is it I think it is export Excel. Is also there. Help export Excel. In export Excel, export Excel here. Check. Did you export? Yes, it is here. First row. Either you specify variable labels, or you specify variable labels. The issue is this one. Or. So you'll find it in several occasions, but doesn't mean you must use both. You will specify only one of these. What else? After all, there is the use of hash symbol. There is the use of hash symbol. The hash symbol is commonly used as a placeholder for specific number. So wherever you see hash, it means there you should put in numeric value. Like if I write help in, help in. If I say help in, you see it here. Hash. What is the meaning of this? It means here just put a number. Like if I say browse in 4, it will browse the content in which occupied the 4th position. This one. Or if you have to use from hash to hash, what does it mean? You specify it in this form. Browse in 4 maybe to 8. It means from number 4 to number 8. So wherever you see a hash, it is a placeholder for number and not for anything else. Other characters are not qualified. If I type here help record, we will find this hash. They are there because here it is a rule. What is the meaning of this? Each command we are going to explain it clearly when we reach to that subject matter. So it is coming. Don't worry. So this is the use of hash. Wherever you see hash in syntax, hash stands for number. It is a placeholder for number. Lastly, the use of blue color from viewer window. A blue text in a Stata viewer window is to indicate a hyperlink. If you click on blue text, it will execute a command, open a dialog box, or bring up a help file. Like in generate. How many blues do we have here? We have type, new, var, express, if, so on and so forth. What is the meaning of this? Let me go to help, generate. You see many blue here. So if I click var name, for example, it will open a help to describe about var name. So what actually is var name is one variable name. One variable. So all this represent one variable name. One variable name can be a character, can be a combination of several characters, can be one name. You see here, you have several terminologies, but all combined with the underscore still represent one variable name, or any name start with the underscore. Any name start with the underscore. So here it brings content about var name. This is the number. This is part 1. What else can you get from hyperlink? I'm still there in this string. I want generate. I was using generate. Let's generate. Help generate. Here. So you want content about a new var, you can click here.
it will take you there. You want content about expression, you can click there. You want content about view. Remember, this is also blue. You can click there. You want content about that. So wherever you see is in blue color, can always take you there. Like here, summarize. I want to understand about the var list. You can click here to give you the content about the var name and the var list. You can go back. How about display option? You click it there to take you there. How about encoded, decoded, the string to string? So I think the content is understood now. So wherever you see is in blue, it is hyperlink. Even if you are here, you can still click there to take you somewhere else. So wherever you see in blue color, it is hyperlink, which can help you to navigate further about that content. That is about blue color. To conclude about Stata help is how can you specify a basic syntax form from full syntax. When you type help, Stata gives you full syntax. Full syntax. How can we deduct from there? We have three things to consider. Full syntax from official Stata documentation, most of the time it looks scary for beginner users. So if we just go there direct, it may confuse you. So it is often packed with brackets, slashes, underlines, symbols, like what you have covered so far. It is very important to learn how to strip away the optional arguments and write a clean, functional, basic syntax line. So number one, ignore anything with enclosed, which is enclosed. I have to edit this. Ignore anything which is enclosed in square brackets. That's number one, because it is purely optional. Like here, if I do summarize, help, summarize. I have been told to ignore anything enclosed with a square bracket. Is the var list enclosed? Yes. If yes, in yes, wait yes, option yes. So the basic syntax here is only summarize. So just take summarize, you run this, it's okay. No error. Sorry. No error. How about this? Help. You run this, you get output as that. Help, tabulate, one way, for example. From here, what is the basic syntax? Tabulate is a command, always will not be enclosed with double quotes. What else? It requires a var name. Var name is not enclosed with double quotes, so I have to specify it, like rep 78. Is there anything else which is not enclosed with double quotes? If enclosed, in, wait, tablet options, all enclosed with double quotes. So here what? Here it means only these two contents are basic form. So for tabulate, basic form command will be formulated by using tab command and var name. It is enough. Like this. The last one, which I'm going to demonstrate here, is generate. Help, generate. In generate, I will copy this whole thing here. And then I'll keep on deleting. Type is enclosed with a square bracket. You can remove this. It is optional.
Label name enclosed with a square bracket, remove this. But generate is not enclosed. New var not enclosed. Express not enclosed. But all things afterwards are enclosed with square brackets. So simple as the basic command is generate your new var which you are going to type, your expression which you are going to create. So only 4 contents here create a basic syntax. Generate new var equal to expression. Please, it's not like you're supposed to write in this form. It's like generate price to equals to price maybe times 4. So here, price 2 stands for new var, equal sign is the assignment operator, price times 4 is your expression. It's not like you're supposed to write it literally in that format. So this is it. This is how you specify a basic command. I think I've forgotten one important aspect here. I skipped something. The use of comma. The use of comma from help syntax. Most of Stata commands, I can say 95+%, are either applied to variables or data file. When I say this, command are action. These actions are made to either variable names or file names. These are actions most of the time. So it's supposed to be here. The use of comma. I will clarify about that point. If I say here help summarize, for example, here this string is applied to what? To variables. Summarize is applied to what? To variables. Tabulate is applied to what? To variables. Most of the time, commands are applied to variables. And there are some which we make with file, like import commands and export commands. These are applied to file names. Like here, if I type help summarize, this is the action to variable, summarize var list. Action applied to variable. Action applied to variable. What else? Help use, for example. If I say help use, you see here file name. So action applied to file name. So the first command is what action applied to. Action applied to file name. So that is so common for most of commands. But variable will receive a big portion. I think if you split between file name and variable names, command for variable names will take even 99%. So most of the time that is the case. So what now? In syntax specification, I forgot one important thing. The order also matter. Where's the help summarize? Here. The order. If you want to say summarize, if you have var list and if you ignore var list, then if no problem. But if you put summarize, var list, and if, you must start with var list before if. This is another important thing in syntax specification. And I will demonstrate that one. If I say here, before that, let me finalize the issue of comma. So what? We say for variables, you will find a variable, var name or var list, For data file, we'll find a file name. Also, you can apply syntax by using in or if. Some of the syntax, they are just keywords, syntax and variable name or file name. But most of the time, almost all syntaxes require additional information. These additional information must come after specifying comma sign. It's very, very important. If you don't put comma sign, Stata will understand those information as variable name or file names. Like here, I will start with this action. ToString. So you can use auto2, comma clear. If I remove this, since ToString receive a var list, ToString receive a var list. If I don't put a comma here, ToString will understand this price as variable name, also replace as variable name. So when I try to run this, you will throw error that replace not found, variable replace not found, because I have imposed a syntax specification error. Syntax, it is true, it is part of syntax specification, but it must come after comma. So for syntax to be, for replace to be recognized as a command, it must come after comma. If you don't put a comma, Stata will understand this as part of var list, because in var list, we just separate them by space. Just separate them by space. So here it is very important. Correct specification here is a comma. Here, replace specified as variable. Because wherever come before comma for this syntax here, wherever come before comma is var list. Wherever comes before comma is a var list. How about to summarize? Wherever come before comma is either var list or if or in or wait. Wherever comes after, wherever is not part of var list, if, in, wait must come after comma, like detail. Detail is option. You see here, options. When you see this comma options, you go to options, and down here you can specify. So like in this case, I can say summarize price. Summarize price. If I say summarize the price, it is okay because the price is part of the var list. But if I want to use the option detail, if I want to use the option detail, I say here summarize price, then detail. As long as I don't put a comma here, then detail is specified like any other variable. Because take this example here. I put summarize, then I put MPG. Since both are variables, Stata will bring the summary of both price and MPG. But if I put a detail, summarize price, comma detail, this format is exactly the same as line number 72. Stata will understand that detail is also a variable. So it will just throw error and say variable detail not found. Why? Because there is a syntax specification error. In order to use wherever comes after this, which is option, you must specify comma. So for detail, in order to be recognized as option, you must specify comma. So I put a comma there, now it's okay. You'll summarize in detail, no problem. So this is the use of comma. So wherever need to be specified by using comma, do not forget to put that comma because it will bring a syntax specification error. Expect that one. expect that one. So after that, I'll come back here to basic syntax specification. Basic syntax specification. Let me finalize the issue of basic syntax specification. What else in basic syntax specification? We are told to ignore anything come within square bracket. Another thing, if pipe symbol is specified in basic form, use one of them, but not both. If pipe is specified, ignore anything enclosed with a square bracket. I have to specify this. Like in that case, this is number one. Number two, if pipe symbol is specified, use one of them and not both. Like in this case, help to string. Here, I can say what is the basic form of toString command? Or what is the basic form of this string? I will use this one. This string is a keyword and not underlined, so I have to write it as it is. Then what? Do we have square bracket? Var list square bracket. I can ignore that one. What else? Comma is here, and the comma is not enclosed with a square bracket, so it is mandatory. I have to put a comma here. Then what? This is my talking point now. You must either specify generate or replace, but not both. The string options, these are enclosed within square bracket, so I can ignore them. So the basic syntax is either the string, comma, replace. This is the basic form. Or the string, comma, new var list. We're going to talk about the issue of new var list later. So these two are the basic form command for toString command. Because first of all, we have ignored everything within square bracket. I have ignored this. I have ignored this. But about this, I have to use one of them, but not both, and they must come after comma. If you don't put a comma, you'll have syntax error. If you don't put a comma, what will happen? It will understand the replace as a var list. That is number two. Number three, if present, substitute word in italic. If present, here I have to put a comma. If present, substitute words in italic with the content from your data set. Like what you have covered from here. If present, number three. If present, substitute words in italic, like in this case, our new var from help syntax, help gen. Here, new var, it is a basic command, but it is in italic. Then substitute word in italics with the content from your data. We say the content because that content can be a variable name, can be anything else like a variable type. So in this case, our new var, I have substituted it with the price because I'm creating this one. About expression, I substitute this with the expression given. This is how you can specify a basic form syntax from full syntax specification. So in order to really help, you must also go through the full picture of how to break down the syntax into a simplex form. Unless there is a question, but the issue of help, I will end it here. I hope it will click something in your end. So now wherever you need is you read Stata help, try to digest what we have covered here. What is the simplest basic key? What is the simplest form of command? And don't worry, from the next session, each time we learn a new command, the first 20 to 30 commands, we are going to use help and explaining everything. This is about, in order not to confuse, I'll put here A, B, C. A, B, C. That is part of Stata help. To finalize the issue of Stata help, you can also use the PDF for Stata help. This one I will just show you because the direct help from command window or file cannot give you a full picture of syntax documentation. If you have your Stata, you can always go here, go to help, and then you'll see here PDF documentation. You see some other kinds of Stata commands and wherever, but here it will open the full PDF. Here now you can search anything, including that summarize which you are talking about. CM summarize, like this one. Then remember this is blue, so you can click here for hyperlink. It will open that summarize for you. Now here it will give you so many stuff. I advise you not to, don't come here earlier. Just use the help which you have learned so far. Once you are using it to Stata, then you can go to that PDF documentation. That is number one. But number two, from here, all syntax which you have covered, specific PDF for that, here at the top, you can always say this, view complete PDF manual entry. Also, it will take you directly to the issue of generate, like this one. I don't want to search them manually. You will get so many expressions here. But another thing from help, if you scroll down, you will see the example of how to execute that syntax. Most of them, they have examples here at the bottom. So since we are yet to learn the specific command, I'll come back to this later. I'll come back to this later. But down here, they have placed a help for you. So this is all about Stata help. I want to move to something else. Stata help was supposed to take a large part of our content. Data types and storage in Stata. Stata has got only two kinds of variables. We have numeric variable and a string variable. Numeric is further split into 5. We have byte, int, long, float, double. As for string, it is starting with str1. Now it will depend. If you have a small Stata version like IC and BE, it will go up to string 80. For SE, it will go up to string 245. But for MP, it goes up to string L. We're going to clarify about those in a short while. So what actually is string L? When you see string str, then number. String 1, string 2, up to string 245 in the L, it means number of characters which can be accommodated. Like a string 5, it means it can accommodate up to 5 characters. Like the word male is made up by 4 characters, M-A-L-E. So string 5 can accommodate word male because word male is made up with 4 characters and the variable type is can accommodate 5 characters. But the word female cannot be accommodated in string 5 because female has got 6 characters, F-E-M-A-L and E. As for string L, this one can take up to 2 billion characters. That's why I always recommend if there is a chance you can have a Stata MP, better do that. Because Stata MP allows you to hold down up to 2 billion characters, string characters. A little bit about this and the issue of storage. Each time you create a variable, it consumes a space from your Stata memory. And this is the meaning of having multiple kinds of data types. For the first 3, byte, int, and long, all these are used to capture integers. So any integer, if variables accommodate integer value, which range between minus 127 and plus 100, it will only consume 1 byte, only 1 byte. And if you have at least one variable which is above this, 101 and maybe minus 128, it will move into int. It will go from type byte to int. So it will consume 2 bytes. And if we have values larger than this, but remember, there must be integers, then it will consume 4 bytes. And the type will be referred as long. As for float and double, this one are for decimals. So if you have decimal number, even if it is 1.5, do not say it ranges here, minus 127 and 100. No, this one is for integers. Wherever you have decimal, even if it is 0.5, it will start from float. So it will consume 4 bytes. And if that number is too big, it will consume 8 bytes. So you see here, numeric variable reserve or use a small part of Stata memory. And that's why we are going to learn the issue of data conversion from one form to another. Because always numeric data will make your file be small. When you say I have 5 MB, 2 MB, even if your data set is huge, as long as you have many numeric variables, then your data will have a small size. Your data file will always have a small size. But when it comes to string, each character consumes 1 byte. So you have 1 character variable will consume byte 1, 2 characters, 2 bytes, and up to 2045 bytes. If you have a string L, you'll have 2 billion bytes. Now the question is, what actually is bytes? 100,000 bytes will make 1 MB, 1 megabyte. And 1,000 megabytes will make 1 gigabyte, GB. So how many variables, string or numeric, do you have? Here we'll find out. If you have a string variable with 9 characters, you have consumed more memory than any kind of numeric variable, because any numeric variable will consume only up to 8 bytes. But a string variable, the moment you go to 9 characters, then it will consume 9 bytes, and the list goes on. If you have at least one string L, strl, it means that data file will at least have 2 gigabytes. This is why we are advised to avoid keep our data in string format as much as we can. but not always the case. There are some of the data we are recommended to keep them in stream, but some particularly measured data which we intended to do analysis and try to put them in numeric format as much as you can to save your space. That is about data storage. How about missing value? Missing value in Stata. Remember, I have two kinds of variables. We have numeric type and we have string type. For numeric type, you can represent missing in 27 different styles. Number one is dot, is called system missing. But you have the other one which you call extended missing. They range from dot A to dot Z. Like in this case, any kind of numeric variable. You see here, since rep 78 is string is numeric, the missing value is represented by dot. The dot you see here, it signifies that is missing. But when it is a string, the missing value is represented by using double quotes. Double quotes. You cannot see them because in the data, they are not clearly visualized. Like here, if I say decode, this one I'm going to learn later, but for the purpose of explaining this, I'll have to do this. And then browse. You see here, this is a string variable. This is a numeric. For numeric, we see dot, but for string, we see plain. Because what is there in that plain? Actually, it captures double quotes. So double quotes in a browse, they are always not visible. And we say that it is double quotes with no space. The moment there is at least a space in between, that is no longer missing. That is value. If you try to look for length, you get it there. Like here, if I say generate x1 equals to this one, and generate x2 equals to, then I put a space. You see the difference? The first one, the message was 74 missing values generated. But the second one, that is not a message because what actually have produced is not a missing value. It is a value with a space. But when I browse, they look the same because x1 and x2, you don't see anything here. But here it is missing, no space, while here it is a value with a single space. So in a browse mode or in an edit mode, you cannot differentiate the two. They will look exactly the same. So this is missing values specification. Stata, var list, and the num list specification. Almost last for today. We have seen var list, var list, var list. For var name, it is not a big deal. Because when you see var name, simply you're supposed to put one variable. So one variable, you just pick it and put it there. But when it comes to var list, you may put 2 variables, you may put 5 variables, you may put 10, you may put 100, you can put 1,000 if they are there. So the challenge is, if you have so many variables, you need to learn some tricks of how you can capture those variables. That's why we are going to learn about the var list specification. So here, simple var list is a list of variable names. Var list refer either exclusive new or not yet created. If you see new var list, it means these are new variables to be created. And we have so many tricks to do. But here, I will show you 6 tricks of doing this. 1. Since it is var list, it means you have to specify at least one variable. So you can only put one variable, or you can exclusively list several variable names, or you can put a range of variables, or you can put a list of variable names with a common start prefix, or you can put a list of variables with common ends, suffixes, or you can list all variables together. Let us start one after another. I will use the command browse to demonstrate this. Here, var list specification. Var list specification. I think it is number 3. So yes, use and I'll say here help browse. Why help browse? Because there is var list here. So once we learn these tricks of how to use var list with browse, wherever you see var list, the same tricks can be used. The only thing you're going to change is the syntax. From browse to summarize it to wherever, tab 1 or anything else which receive var list. First of all, from browse, from what we have covered, browse. Browse is a basic command because var list is enclosed with a square bracket, if, in, no label, all closed with a square bracket. So simply, I can come here and write browse, and that is full syntax. And as I said earlier, if you don't specify anything, the action will be taken to the entire data set. Now let us begin with our first trick. The first trick of var list specification, we say it is what? One variable, specify one variable only. Var list is one variable only. Var list, one variable only. So I can say here browse. Browse what? Browse price. Instead of browse the entire data, here it will just bring price. Or instead of summarize the entire data, here it will summarize only price. Like that. As I said, you just need to change the action. Only price. You remove that, it will do that for the entire data. So that is one variable specification. So when you see var list, simply you can put one variable, no worry. Number 2, var list with exclusive list of several variable names. Like here. I can say, I want to browse what? I want to browse make, price, trunk, and maybe gear ratio. These 4 are the ones which I want to browse. So you put your variable names. So only these 4 are browsed. Or you can just say also, I want to summarize these 4. I want to summarize this 4. So only these 4 will be summarized. You see here, since make is a string variable, that's why I don't have results. We'll cover this later. That is the second approach. Another thing, what can you do? Var list with a range of variables. Range of variables. Variables. Var list with a range of variables. Here, assume this. Assume this. I want to browse variables which are arranged consecutively to one another from price to ton. this. So you can use second approach like this one to browse that one. But the recommended one is what? As long as you want all variables in between inclusive, from price to turn, all of them, simply you are advised to put a price, then minus sign, then the last one. You put the first and the last. And this is what I said. When you use minus sign with var list, it plays the role of selecting range. So you will achieve the same thing. This one is recommended if you want to exclusively put the list of variables. So the same here. If I say summarize, I put this. You will have a summary form of all these variables. But the recommended approach is to specify first and the last. So you say here summarize price to turn. So you see the command, summarize price to turn, but it gives you same answer as this one. That is the use of third technique, which specifies start and end only. So when you have so many variables, always remember to use this trick. What else? Pick a variable by using prefix and suffix. Prefix and suffix. For this one, let me give you a little bit of theory about the prefix and the suffix here. To understand the concept of prefix and suffix, consider the following example. Assume these are your variable names. You have 9 columns named A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. So when you hear the term prefix, prefixes signify common start. So like here, if I say prefix A, it means all variables which start with A, A1, A2, A3, they have something in common, which is A. They start with A. B1, B2, B3, they have something in common, B. C1, C2, C3, they have something in common, C. Since this something in common it's at the beginning, it is called a prefix. So here prefixed with C, prefixed with B, prefixed with A. The vice versa is suffix. A1, B1, C1, they have something in common, which is 1. And this one is at the end. So we say these variables are suffixed with 1, while this one is suffixed with 2, while this one is suffixed with 3. After understanding that little theory, then you come back here. So when I need to prefix something, to pick a var list, like here, I want to browse all variables which start with the M, regardless of the position of the variables. So I can come here and say browse, and then I put the M, then star. So when you see asterisk and something come before it, it means variables prefixed with M. Prefixed with M. So if I browse here, that I will look for all variables starting with M, like here, make MPG. These are only variables which start with M. If I say summarize M, it will go and summarize all variables which start with M, make MPG. That is the prefix. Let me check if I can give another example. We have several T, of course. We put a T. Browse. While here, summarize variables prefixed with T. All variables start with T here. That's why it summarizes trunk and turn. Why? Because they start with T. Now, vice versa is a suffix. For suffix, I will put star, then your suffix will be at the end. Now make the difference. For prefix, common start, then star. For suffix, any start, then common end, which is T in this case. Var list with variables with common end. Here, var list with common end, like browse star then T. Browse variables suffixed with T. Browse variables suffixed with T. So why weight and displacement? Because they end with T. Mind that suffix is not necessarily one character. It can be several characters. It can be several characters. Wait, like here, if I try to put this, for example, HT, suffix with HT, displacement will no longer be there because it doesn't have H and T at the end. Doesn't have H and T at the end. Those variables suffixed with HT. Another case I can say here, summarize T. Like this. And you can use it all together. Use several tricks. Like here, I can say summarize all variable suffixed with T, all variables start with T. Also, I can summarize weight, for example, length. You can specify. So here, why do we have weight and displacement? Because they are suffixed with T. Why do we have trunk and turn? Because they are prefixed with T. Why do we have length? Because they have exclusively tell Stata to summarize it. The last one, var list with all variables in current data set. Var list with all variables in current data set. You want to take your action to all variables. There is a command for that, browse underscore all. This underscore all, we say it is a dynamic command. It will take care with all variables in dataset. Someone can say, I can use the third trick. Like what? I can say summarize. Let me say here, I will use summarize all. You see here, you summarize all variables in current data. But someone can say, you can also specify the first variable and the last variable. First and last variable. We say yes. You can do that. It will still bring you or give you the same answer. But the second command is not dynamic. It is specific to this particular data only. This one is dynamic command. This one is specific for current data. If I try to change data, for example, I say yes, so yes, use the PYD. Clear. This one. We have another data now. So if I pick these commands, if I take this one will still work because it is dynamic. It is created to work with any kind of data set in memory. But this one, it is not, because it is specific to auto. Auto 2 data, for example, in this case. This one will still work. It will summarize the current data in certain memory, but this one will give you error. It will tell you the variable may cannot found. So underscore all, it is there. Remember, it is underscore all. If you remove underscore, Stata will understand this as variable name. So it will tell you variable all not found. Here, variable all not found. So underscore all is the keyword. It is a keyword. This is all about var list specification. Do you have any question? Before I finalize the last concept for today.
We have no questions.
Okay, I'll finalize the last concept for today. Num list. We come from var list specification, then in num list specification. Var list is for variable list. Num list is for number list. Num list specification. You will see this also. It is not common like a var list, but it is there. Num list is the list of numbers. There are several primary ways which you can specify num list because it is there. You will, one way or another, come across with this one. Where will you find a num list? I have listed down here. When we go to learn about the in, there is a specification of num list, but it is a partial. Record also, you will specify num list, but you will find it in full phase when you go to egen. We have several egen commands which specify num list. How will you understand that one? Like here, help egen. Help egen. Help egen. So you see, any count have got num list, any match has got num list, and it is all mentioned here. So likewise, you can use this hyperlink to check. So somewhere you will find num list specified, and you may fail how to use it because you don't know how to put it. So here, num list specification. First of all, what is the rule? You can use a space separated list. You can use a simple range. You can use explicit step size, or you can use a pattern step. These are 4 structures you can specify your num list. Like you can put 1, 2, 3, 7, 11. Maybe these are the numbers you're interested with. Then you can put it there in your num list and you can execute your results. So these four cases, for demonstration, because Stata do not allow to write a num list direct and view the output. So I will use this style to display what it means. So first of all, I will specify our numbers. I will put them in the quotes, and then I will display. So simply, Stata will return 1, 2, 3, 4. It is space based because from one number to another, you must have a space. If you don't put a space, this will be 12 and not 1, 2. So you must have a space for Stata to understand that these are two different numbers. So this is the first approach. The second approach is using simple range. And this is what we call partial when we are using in command. Partial. When you use a simple range, what will happen? From 1 to 5, for example, from 1 to 5, simply it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5, wherever included. Yeah? So we call this simple range. You don't have to write as long as the numbers are arranged sequentially. You don't need to put one after another. You just need to do simple range. You can put 1 to 5 or wherever. You can even reverse this. Yeah? You can even reverse this 5 to 1 and then display 5 or 7 to 1. It will understand that the pattern is reversed. So it will start from 7 up to 1. This is it. The second form of num list. The third one is explicitly step size. Explicitly step size. This one. You can also create this by using step size. By using which style, you have two choices or several choices. Like here, I can say from 1 or from 2 up to maybe 20 with steps of 3. So 2, 5, 8 up to last. So like that. 2, 5, 8, 11. The step between is 3. Also, that is the choice. You can use parentheses, but also you can use square bracket, all the same. They will end up give you the same answer. Like this time, let me use 2 as steps. So you see 2, 64 up to 20. You have two choices. Either you use square brackets or you use parentheses. The last one, which also indicates steps, is you to use a step pattern. Use a step pattern. Use step pattern. And what is that? Stata is smart enough. If I just say 2, and then I jump maybe 4 steps, I put 6. Then I say to 30. It will understand that 2, 6, 10, 14, it will skip 4 up to 30. So this is the second approach, which you can use also to produce steps. And the same thing also can be achieved by using separator, full colon separator. Also will achieve similar thing. Like this one. And you are allowed to use mixed approach altogether. Use mixed approach altogether. Just like in var list, you can use mixed approach. So here the same. Can come here and say, I will pick, for example, I'll pick 5 I'll pick 1, I'll pick 5, I will pick maybe -3, and then I will pick 11 to 15, and then I will pick from 20 by step of 3 to 40. All these can be accommodated in one form. So you see that 1, 5 minus 3, then 11 to 15, then 20 to 40, but with a step of 3. This is how you can specify num list. So wherever you find a num list, you can use that trick. So in actual usage, does it mean that I will have to put this double quotes into wherever? No. Here, I was trying to show you how you can display the input value, because if you don't put the quotes, it will throw error. In actual usage, for example, I'll put actual usage in this one, agent, num list, fill num list. What should you do? You can come here and say agent, my new variables, new variable. Okay, say maybe I can put XX and then fill. After fill, now put your style here, whatever we have learned. If I say 1, 2, this will be understood as a pattern. So it will generate, or it will create a field with 1, 2 up to last. Or if I want to put this as 1, then what? 4 up to 20, for example, to use that approach. So XX already defined. I have to put a new variable here. So like this, you're going to skip 4 up to last. So in actual usage, it doesn't mean you have to specify those double quotes. No. In actual usage, whatever num list is required, just put num list as it is, and don't put double quotes. But for displaying there in the screen, I had to do that. So this is it. And this will mark the end of today's session, because the last part is errors in Stata execution. This one I will keep on explaining in later sessions what it means by each error. Actually, I'll chop it from here and put it to our last session of beginner. The last session of beginners is the one which you're going to learn about the issue of errors, because by then we'll be covered several commands and experience several errors, which now will be ready to face them. Other than that, this is it for today. Unless there is a question, you need a clarification somewhere, you are welcome. Karibuni.
Thank you, sir. I don't have a question, but I have to thank you for the session. I really understood it. And I see there's a lot of changes from where we just discussed in the last time. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Someone else? So if not,
Leguma, I have a question on the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Box.
Let me check.
I see the last command has generated a value beyond 20.
Yeah, why X generated values beyond 20? Oh, good question. Since I have limited my value to 20, I have limited them to 20. But this command, it is supposed to generate values until when we exhaust 120 observations. So it will go up to that. So, but this, we'll learn this when it comes to agent, because it is exclusively not about a norm list. But when it comes to egen, I will explain this because there is a full lesson about the egen and the fill command will be discussed. So by that time,
Okay,
I will provide a clear explanation about this.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah. So see you then. The video sessions and the do file, the handout will be uploaded in a short while. I think after 1 hour they will be there.